All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. The Big 12 Conference is in the midst of a transition period as they're bidding farewell to Oklahoma and Texas, who are set to join the SEC while they're preparing to welcome Utah, Arizona, Arizona State, and Colorado next year after they added UCF, BYU, Cincinnati, and Houston this year. Now, Big 12 Conference Commissioner Brett Yormark has been outspoken about Texas and Oklahoma leaving the league as he did so while making the rounds in the preseason to some of the conference's members. Now, until Oklahoma State rallied last week to beat BYU, it looked like we were going to get Oklahoma and Texas in the Big 12 championship game today. But at least for Yormark's sake, he got Oklahoma State taking the field today against the Longhorns. But regardless, it was still all about the burnt orange today in Arlington as they had their way with the Cowboys. Not the Cowboys that consistently play at AT&T Stadium. I'm talking about the Dallas Cowboys in the NFL, but the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And we saw Texas lead 21-7 after one quarter, and they never looked back as they steamrolled the Cowboys to the 49-21 win. We saw Texas rack up 662 yards of offense today as they held the football today for more than 40 minutes. And I don't care who you are, it's darn near impossible to beat a team when you don't even possess the football for a third of the game. Now, Quinn Ewers was not really threatened today by this Oklahoma State defense. He was in his zone. He was 35 of 46 passing for 452 with 4 TDs. He did have the one interception, though, but of course, it did not hurt Texas in the long term. Now, of course, you're going to sit back and see how Texas dominated Oklahoma State today, and you're going to say, well, has Texas done enough to beat, oh, pardon me, to get to the college football playoff? Now, clearly, their best win of the season, and it's something that they can darn sure hang their hat on, was going to Tuscaloosa and beating Alabama, an Alabama team that won the SEC today by 10 points. I said when this game was finished, that Texas was going to need some help. They got that help when Georgia beat Alabama. I know that they were hoping that Louisville would go out there and beat Florida State. Didn't happen. Florida State had to fight scrap and claw, but nonetheless, the Noles still won the ACC. But the question is going to be, has Texas done enough to get to the college football playoff? They were number 7 coming into this week. Ohio State was number 6. Clearly, Ohio State didn't play this weekend, so Texas clearly is going to jump them. Oregon was number 5. So Oregon just lost. So obviously, Texas, is going to be ahead of them. I think the two guarantees at this point, you got to guarantee Michigan a spot in there. You got to guarantee Washington a spot in the college football playoff. The other two draws, it comes down to Alabama, who just beat Georgia today. You have Texas, of course, who just won the Big 12 and they beat Alabama. You got Florida State, who won the ACC and they're undefeated. And then you have Georgia. So I think Texas has done enough, in my opinion, to get to the college football playoff because you look at it, Florida State's undefeated, but even if they had a healthy Jordan Travis, if you're stacking up the Power Five conferences, all of them, the ACC from top to bottom is last. And Florida State's best win of the season was against an LSU team that didn't live up to expectations coming into this campaign. So that puts Florida State at a disadvantage. And of course, they're down to their third string quarterback right now. Alabama just won the SEC, and you're hard pressed to keep the SEC champion out, especially after they just beat the number 1 team in Georgia, who had a 29-game winning streak. And then you've got Texas, who beat Alabama. So at the end of the day, I think that Texas has done enough. I know if you want to go style points, yeah, they beat the brakes off of a so-so Texas Tech team last week, and they beat the brakes off of Oklahoma State today. But I mean, at the end of the day, the Cowboys were a 4-loss team. And, Oklahoma State, yes, they were in the Big 12 championship game, but they had some bad losses on their resume. They lost by 26 at home to South Alabama. They got blown out 45-3 against UCF, and this was right after they beat Oklahoma in Bedlam, and then of course losing to Iowa State, and then obviously the loss today to Texas. But nonetheless, even with that all being said, I think the Longhorns, who have sleptwalked at times during the season, have done enough to get to the college football playoff. So we're about 13, 14 hours, give or take, away from finding out who's going to be in that field of four. I don't envy this committee, but at the end of the day, this is why they get the big bucks. So let's see if Texas has indeed done enough to be playoff bound for the first time in program history. So, folks, that's going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it'll be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.